Alright, today we're going to look at the Magic Wand tool and the Gradient tool in Photoshop. First and foremost, I am going to unlock my background layer by double-clicking the lock here and just clicking OK. The Magic Wand tool is the fourth tool down, and if we right-click on it, we'll see the Magic Wand will be behind the Quick Selection tool. The Magic Wand tool, what it does, if I click on a color, it will select that color and every little pixel of that same color that it touches. So if I click on the sky here, you could see I have a selection around all the blue. So if I try a different color like the green on the pipe down here in Mario Land, I only get that little square because it's darker here, it's lighter on the side, and that's all the same color that's touching. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the sky here and hit delete on the keyboard. So now when I hit delete, I'm going to go select deselect to get rid of the selection, and you can see all the blue is gone and I have this checkered pattern behind. What the checkered pattern does is if I put a different layer on here, I could put that layer underneath this picture of Mario and it will become that background. It's kind of see-through, it's transparent. So I am going to add another layer, and I'm going to now look at the gradient tool. So the gradient tool is underneath the eraser. It's the square that fades from dark to light. And what it is a simple gradient. I can click on this green one and simply click on the canvas, drag my mouse, drag a line with my mouse, and you can see it faded from light to dark. I could go left to right. I can go corner to corner. I could do all kinds of ways. I can even do like a little tiny gradient. I don't have to make it as long of a line, but the longer line you make, it kind of more area it expands. So now I have this. It faded from left to right or right to left depending on how you look at it, but next to where I selected my gradient, I also have different options of how it looks. The first one we did was a linear gradient where it went from left to right. Next is a radial gradient. So if I click and drag a little line, it goes from a circle and fades out to the ending color. So when I click on that, you can see the circle, it's fading from light to dark. The next is the angular gradient, and I click on that and it fades kind of over here, but then it's a solid line this way. I could keep clicking and drawing. I've never personally found a use for this, but it could be something of use to somebody. The next is the reflected gradient, where it's the same on top and bottom and the same in the center. So again, you could do angles like that, kind of make it look a little different. And depending on how big of a line you draw, it will affect how it looks. Last is a diamond one, where I could click on that, and it's a diamond shaped and it kind of spreads out. I can make that larger, make a bigger line where it kind of looks pretty neat. So if I wanted to, I could drag this layer underneath the Mario and it looks like that, which is actually pretty cool looking. There are a lot of different ways you could use a gradient in your projects, just by kind of playing around with them, figuring out what looks good if you have to make a background for a particular project or not. I'm going to trash this layer and make a new one. So I'm going to show you one way that it looks pretty cool and it works. I have gradients here that are kind of related to the sky, where I could click, got to make sure I'm on that one, drag it down, and it looks like the Mario sky. It fades dark to light, and it looks like it's part of the video game, where it was just, in fact, a gradient I did on Photoshop. I could get a darker one and make it nighttime in Mario Land. Make it a little darker. You could also make it look like, the sun is shining in the corner. So, a lot of different options with that. That is the gradient tool and the Magic Wand tool. You will be using at least the Magic Wand tool quite a bit throughout this year. So the gradient tool, only certain purposes you need it for, but it's good just to show you what it can do.